Hello, everyone. We are on chapter 3 of Asaki. Uh, he's going to be a roller coaster, let me tell you. Okay. The next day, Makoto has sent me to start working at the Miko salon during the day. The Miko salon is composed of many faculties. It's a place for social gatherings in Nagasaki. Nagasaki. I need to really work on making that flow better. And we got the regular Kakura back. I was right assuming that Kakura would be the one explaining to me how things work at the Miko salon, since this was where Kakura worked most of the time. Important goods are sold, and there is also an area dedicated to business business negotiations, where people from other countries can gather. And my speech is going crazy. People can enjoy light exotic cuisines in the innermost room. There is also my lord's workshop as well. Makoto's workshop? I found myself puzzled by the unfamiliar words and tilted my head to the side. Kaka gave me a nod in response. My lord is an artist by day and a ninja by night. It just kind of makes a little bit more sense. Double agent, I say. Now that I really thought about it, Makoto did have some sort of artistic aura about surrounding him. I let Kagura know that I understood everything that he explained to me so far. After that, Kagura continued by explaining the kind of work I would be doing at the Miko salon. There was a variety of different jobs that I needed to take care of, since there's so many faculties here at the Miko salon. For my first task, I ended up stocking the shelves that Kakura had taught me that goes there, and that don't worry about that for now. Well, about this, we need a lot of those out. Those go there. The Kagura I witnessed yesterday didn't even feel real anymore. He was explaining everything today in his usual sheepish manner as always. Is something the matter? Kagura said. No, nothing. I went back, stalking the shelf in a panic. He usually stole a few glances of Kagura while continuing to follow instructions. No, just like that, Kagura and I began quietly carry out the rest of our work. It was at that moment Kagura, Shino, Makoto said, Makoto appeared from the back and called out our names. We're closing for the day. I was called over to the Dutch trading house for a ceremony event, said Makoto. Therefore, I need Kaga to come with me. Shino and the others will take care of closing the shop for a while we're gone. Yes, sir. Shino, will you be okay? Sheepish. Just saying sheepish. I've got the main idea how things work here. I think I'll be fine. I'll make sure to ask someone if I need anything. I answered with a smile, giving me a nod. Kaga followed Mikoto out of the room to go prepare for their departure. I took a break from stocking the shelves and started to get everything ready so I could close the shop. Just then, I was about to close the shop curtains. I heard someone call out behind me. Oh, closing the shop already, and after I came all this way to do some shopping. Who was that? Jesus. Oh. I love her. She's adorable. I turn around and find a lady around the same age as me with a slightly troubled look on her face. I am very sorry for the inconvenience. I ended up closing the shop early today. Oh, this is the first time I ever seen you here. Are you a new worker at Miko's salon? The woman stared hard with full eyes of curiosity. She was so close to me that I took a step back away from her surprise. Cast my eyes in each and every direction while coming up with a plan. Then my eyes met Yukio's, who was out patrolling the city. Hey, Shino. Haru, what's up? The master closed the shop early today. It looks like I picked the wrong day to come all the way here. The lady and Yukio apparently knew each other. I was impressed once by how many people Yukio knew in Nagasaki. Yeah, stuff like this happens sometimes. Sorry about that, Hiro. Oh, yeah, this is Shino. He's new here. Shino Aburami, nice to meet you. This is Haru. She works at the tea house here at Nagasaki. I'm Hiro. Nice to meet you, Shino. It's too bad that the place is closed already today, but I'll make sure to come back another day to shop. I'm really sorry. I am looking forward to seeing you again next time. Let's have a chat and get to know each other. Shino, see you around. Hiro waved her hand in the air as she left. I lowered my head to Hiro and saw her off. Later, Hiro. Hiro. Then Yukio called out to Hiro and she turned around. She waved and gave us a bow. Makoto closed the shop early today, right? So that means you're free now? After Hiro faded off the distance, Yukio turned around and looked at me. I slowly nodded in response. Yeah, I'm pretty much free after I get done cleaning. Perfect. Heading on over to the Himuro Shrine and hanging out at Sake then? I felt puzzled as Yukio advised me to do with a free, carefree smile running across his face. What is Saki doing to help guide and instruct you if you don't know what kind of person he is? You need to take the time to get to know him. Yeah, I guess, but 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 here's the thing. The thing is, Asagi said not to get into his personal life. Jesus Christ. But Asagi, yeah, I just said that. I just said that. But Asagi told me he wanted us to keep our distance. I want to respect his wishes. When I put these words out of frustration and doubt into words, I let Yukio let out a sigh and lowered his gaze. Of course, there's no real reason to stick your nose into his personal life, but it would still probably be a good idea for you to get along. There's are probably a lot of things about diviners that could cause trouble if word got out. Now I feel convinced. I nodded in response to what Yukio had said. I did not really understand what it meant by to be a diviner, but I felt I could understand what Asaki needed some distance between us for protection of some sort. Alright, got it. I'll make sure not to stick my nose where it doesn't belong. I'll head over to Asaki's place after finished closing up the shop. Yeah, I'm sure he'll take real good care of you once you get to know him. Yuki smiled at me from ear to ear. Thus, I made my way over to Himuro Shrine after closing the shop, just like Yukio told me to. After reaching Himuro Shrine, I used my memory as a guide and find my way around the grounds of the shrine. I ended up finding Asaki sweeping off the main building of the shrine. Asaki. After calling off his name, I suddenly found myself at loss for words. Asaki looked at me with full wonder. You need something? Saki said. No, I just came here so I could get to know you better. I naturally hesitated for a moment, then Asaki's expression clouded over. He was obviously in a bad mood. I could tell he was trying to get rid of me. I became acutely aware of the distance between us. His attitude towards me that he wasn't planning of telling me a thing about himself. Asaki looked away from me and continued cleaning. Feeling out of place, I began to head back to Riko's salon. At the moment, I saw an elegant man from another country enter Imura's shrine. Tagging along closely by Hendrick's side was Edward, acting as his interpreter. He came to Himuro Shrine today with a request. Asaki rushed me out of the ride and gave them a bow to welcome them. Thank you very much for always coming to the Himuro Shrine for support. What would you like for us to pray for? Their acting and behavior was flawless. At this moment, the conversation that they were having was between interpreter and diviner. Nothing more, nothing less. As I watched over them in utterly amazement, Edward and Hendrix began to converse between one another. Edward interpreted what Hendrix had said and faced Asaki once more. It is going to be a large scale business deal taking place with the Dutch in the near future. We would like you to pray for the boat's safety on its way to Japan. Very well, I will return with Mukurin shortly. Please wait inside, said Asaki. Mukurin immediately came struggling out of the main building of the shrine the moment Asaki had said that. Right when I was began to wonder what was going on with them, Asaki started to speak. We have a request from the Dutch trading house as of now, said Asaki. Asaki, that's Mukurin. Right then, Mukurin was about to say something. His legs began to tremble. He collapsed on the ground. Right away, Asaki tried to help him and see if he were okay, but Mukurin had laid motionless on the ground. There was no sign of him regaining consciousness anytime soon. Mukurin, give me a hand. We're going to carry him inside. Only the sound of Asaki's voice echoed through the shrine. Edward and I waited in Asaki's room. Hendrix had something else he had to take care of, so he left Emran in charge here while headed back to the Dutch training house. The air was still tense and people were still panicking about what happened earlier. At first, I was spending my time doing chores around the temple with other members of the Amino Shrine. However, Asaki told me to wait with Alman, so I ended up being brought to this room. But I was so worried about Mukurin that I had no idea what to talk to Edmund about. After we sat for a while, almost complete silence, Asaki quietly returned into the room we were in. Asaki, how is Mukurin doing? Edward said. Edward asked before I even got the chance to open my mouth. I took a carefully look at Asaki. It appeared as if he had broken out in a nervous sweat. I was so worried that my heart ached. Asagi came into the room, but he soon staggered and collapsed before me. Asagi. Sensing something was wrong, I immediately tried to catch him and help him up. The weight on my shoulders began beyond something. Even though he may be a slight feral diviner, I now realized how strong he was. Surprised by how muscular he was, I peered down at his face. His face had almost lost all color. Asagi, are you okay? I'm not good with male voices, by the way. Even though I was half expected him to hit me with something sarcastic comeback, but I couldn't help myself from asking if were okay. I looked down at Asagi as I held him in my arms. He was surprisingly gave me a nod with a serious look on his face. I'm fine, he said. He bluntly said as if he were trying to persuade me that he was really okay. Seeing how different Asagi was acting actually made me slightly more worried about him. Let me help you sit down. With Asagi's arm now wrapped around my shoulder, I raised myself and slowly helped it sit down. Asagi had surrendered himself to me as I helped him down. Yeah, he's normally with the whole being sarcastic and whatnot, while still trying to keep enough distance between us so that he wouldn't figure out I was really a girl. I sat down next to him and started to rub his back. I could see his long, downcast eyelashes trembling. It was easy to tell how shook up he was. Edward saw how we were acting, gently set himself down across from us. The doctor said that whatever had been causing his chest pain had gotten worse. He said that he needed to rest for now. Will he be better then? Probably. After I let out a sigh of relief, Edmund suddenly forward his eyebrows. I wish I could come back later, but since it's going to be a quite big business deal, I could not change the date. This is what Hendred wants. The entire fate of Nagasaki depends on this upcoming business with the Dutch. Therefore, Saki, can you perform the prayer in place of Makurin? He's not happy, clearly. Right then, only for a fleeting moment, Saki to have drawn his brows together and flinched. Edward seems not to have noticed. Strangely, emotions began to stir within my heart. I felt lost in the darkness as I stared at Asagi, as if he could sense how tense the air was getting around us. Asagi suddenly returned to his old self and faintly grinned. The Dutch trading house chairman is very important regular to at this shrine. I don't want to mess up things for Edmund. So I'll see what I can do. I'll contact you after I finish the prayer ceremony. Thank you. It means a lot to me, said Edmund. And leave everything to me, Asaki said as he slightly creased his eyes. However, if was ah, it were as if there was a hint of despair lurking behind that smile of his. There was something bothering me about it in the back of my mind. Oof. Let's say nothing because you know what? If we talk about it, it'd be asking his business. Let's say nothing. So I could tell that he was still shaken up by the whole thing, but I thought that even if I did say something, it would end up hurting him even more. And if anyone of all people didn't notice anything, then that gave me all the more reasons to keep my mouth shut. I shot a quick look at Saki and saw him talking with Almond as if nothing had happened. I kept these feelings of doubt locked deep within my heart and decided to turn them into feelings of trust for Asagi. The next day, I was out in the city of Nagasaki buying something for Makoto. On my way back to the Miku salon, I came across a back alley. I overheard two voices of two people arguing. I tried to casually stroll by. I accidentally caught a glimpse of someone familiar of the corner of my eye. Ooh, Shizasaki. I stopped and peeked into the back alley. There I saw Asaki with a few prodigious looking middle-aged Shinto priest. I sensed a restlessness in the air and my body naturally froze. I hide in the shadows and carefully listen to their conversation. I can't believe the garbage you're spewing from your mouth right now, priest number 1 said. Priest number 2, this is going to ruin things for the head family in Kyoto as well. I looked over to see how Asaki was reacting while I was eavesdropping. Asaki just stared at the ground without saying a word in return. How about saying something, Asaki? Priest 1 said. We can't have you tarnish the name of the Himaru Shrine, Priest 2 said. The voices of the priests echoed down the hallway as they one-sidedly talked down to Asagi. From what I've heard so far, I could gather that there was some sort of conflict between Asagi and the head family. I couldn't bear watching Asagi like this any longer, so I suddenly left the alley in a haste. Asaki's expression was so different compared to how confident he unusually was. I couldn't get a look on his face out of my head. The next day, after seeing an unusual side of Asagi, I headed over to Himaru Shrine once again. I came to the shrine this time under Mikoto's orders. Mikoto was apparently also worried about how things were working out between Asaki and me, so he came up with an excuse to get me run an errand for him at the Imara shrine. Ugh. I knew everything meant well, but I still couldn't help myself from sighing deep down inside. I readjusted my grip on the gift that I had brought for Mokuren and began walking over the main building of the shrine. I suddenly caught a glimpse of Saki walking by out of the corner of my eye and looked like he didn't notice me. Saki headed straight over to the back of the shrine without looking back once. I hesitated for a brief moment and I decided to follow Saki. I made my way into the grounds of the shrine. After I followed Saki, I found myself standing before the waterfall behind the shrine. Only the gentle sound of running water could be heard. There was no one else but us. I hid in the shadows, waiting for my chance to call out to him. As I carefully waited for the right moment, Asaki slowly drew a card from his pocket. After that, he placed down on the ground and began to chant some sort of spell. The ceremony I previously saw was once again being carried out before me. Asaki's movement seemed a lot clumsier than Mokurin was. There was not enough force behind it. I couldn't sense any sort of momentum at all. I narrowed my eyes and carefully looked around, and the culprit behind this sense of discomfort gradually started to rear its head. Okay. Since I already got this, so I'm ready to go. Without turning around even once, Saki continued the ceremony with a grave expression on his face. However, it was obvious that nothing good was going to come out of this ceremony the longer it went on. It was getting so difficult to breathe that I instinctively pressed my hand up my chest. I was getting so dizzy that it was hard for me to stand any longer. That instant, the gift that I was holding fell out of my hand and dropped to the ground. The sound of crashing against the ground echoed the quiet afternoon. Asaki Shikigami, a Davenar familiar, immediately appeared before my eyes. What? As I winced in pain, the Shikigami turned into a small blue ball of fire and exploded right before me. My clothes began to burn in flames. Ah! Ah, okay. Sheena? Clearly, he didn't know that Sheena was there. Of course, he didn't know. What are you doing here? At the moment, Asaki yelled at me in a pressed yet harsh tone. begun, will-o'-the-wisp. Saki? That ball of fire was made to dispose those who enter this holy land. It will attack anyone who comes near, no matter who they are. Alright, I get it. I understand that this Asaki meat is for, but so the blue flame spread out and slowly turned my clothes into dust. I ran over to the waterfall in panic, placed my chest under the running water. The cool sensation ran down my neck and wrapped itself around my body. I was finally able to relax. I slowly glanced down at my chest. I was so worried that I burnt myself, but it looked like only my scarf got scorched a little in the fire. La 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 la. After letting out a sigh of relief, took my burnt scarf and swung it out. I also caught up with what happened to me, where it was something I didn't realize up until now. I suddenly realized that Asaki'd been standing there motionless while staring at me the entire time. What's wrong, Asaki? You're a girl. What? I tried to cover up in a panic, but realized it was too late to cover up any excuses. Even though I still had my chest wrapped around underneath my shirt, it was obvious. He could clearly see my protruding chest underneath my burnt scarf. I turned my back to Asaki and readjusted my clothes in a panic. So and you saw my ceremony as well, didn't you? I stood emotionless in utterly astonishment before Asaki, who had reassigned an expression on his face. So, there was a long chapter. So I hope you guys like this one. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the next video. Bye.